Hi, this is Bill from Straight Circle Martial Arts, and this is 10 tips on blocking. Circle blocks just don't work. So if I have a guy like this, right, and we all know these, we all go, like we've all learned these blocks in life. If he's making a straight punch, and I try to make a circle to get there, by the time I get to there, he's going to knock my head off, right? Blocks have got to be straight and to the point. So when you do these motions, realistically it's not this, right? This motion is more like this. It comes in this way. It doesn't come like this. So one more time, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be more like that. It's not going to be like this because by then it's just too late. So you want to straighten those blocks out and get them right to where they go. Number 9, from point A to point B. When you block, often what we do is we make weird jerky motions before the block, or we make something too big, and they just don't get there. If he makes a strike at me, it goes right to the point. From wherever I am, it goes from point A to point B. If he comes this way, it's that way. If he comes this way, it's this way. It doesn't really matter, right? Whatever he does, it just comes right from here to there. Don't make any weird motions, don't make any circles, just right to the point. Number 8, a fan hook block. We've all done this block, you've seen it over and over again. It's really not a block. That's where people make this mistake. What it is it's a parry into a grab. So if he comes to me with that hand, by the time I make this motion, he's going to hit me in the face, right? But if I step off the line, and I just make contact with it, and I let it ride, and let it ride, and let it ride, and then I hook. That's what it is, it's a hook. And the point of this is, you hook until his momentum stops. Because there's no way, if he's punching, that I'm ever just going to grab his hand at speed. It just doesn't happen. So the point of this is hook it, bring it, and then catch it once it stops. It works much better if you do it that way. Number 7, anytime you do see a circular block in a form, it's not a block, it's a pass. So if he's here, and I was going to block this, it would go from point A to point B. But if I need to get around it, and I need to circle, then it's a pass. So anytime you see this, you're trying to get around whatever it is. Just a nice circle. So when you're doing your forms, I don't want you to ever imagine these as a block. They're not. You're just trying to get around something. Number 6, all blocks should rotate. Hopefully in your styles you've all learned to make this rotation. A lot of people do it, they don't know why. There are 3 reasons you do it. You want pain, you want to move it along, and you want to load your next work. So if he's coming at me, if he comes and I add a little bit of a crack on that, it hurts him a little more. Number 2, when I spin this, watch, see how it moves him? If he's punching at me and I rotate this way, if I just go like this, it's one thing, but if I help it with the rotation, it usually moves the guy in a little closer to where you can hit him a little better. Number 3, if I take it and I turn it, it loads me from my next work. It's like a rubber band, right? If I turn it, it turns back. If I turn, it turns back. So all those rotations you do all these years, make sure you use them. They're there for a reason. Number 5, attack block should always expand. When the guy punches for me, and I want to damage this, I have to learn to expand into this. So many people, when they try to block, they contract, and the energy comes back to you. What I want to do, if he goes like this, right, and I try and block this, and I contract, you see how this is structurally weak? If he pushes on me, like he's going to fold me up. But if I expand into him, there's strength into my expansion. So when he comes in, I always want to make sure I open myself, which opens him up more. So please don't, when you do this, please don't crush in. right? Make sure you expand into them and expand it. Number 4, not muscle. When you use blocks, a lot of people, what they do is they come and they stop and they contract and all the muscles go like this and then everything locks into place. But that's okay, but then you have to unlock to go to your next motion. What you really want to learn to do is feel where the very tips of them are. So when you just make that little fraction of a pause like that. So when he comes in, if I do this, look, boom, and I can flip to the next motion. I can't do that from tension. It's got to just touch a little bit and gone. So when you do work your forearms, you work with people, try and find the minimal amount of tension you actually really need to do this work. Number 3, the blocks work with the body, not without the body. A lot of styles we teach traditionally that we move the hips and then we swing into our work. Step and swing into our work. But it's always late. If he comes to me and I step and then I try to turn my hips and then I try to turn my arms, by the time I get there, he's already hit me. What you'll actually learn later is it's one motion together. I step, I move. I step, I move. Right? Whether it's a parry type work or whether it's a shot in like this, it doesn't really matter. You want everything to work in unison. So you have to learn to time your feet, your hips, and your arms all in one move. Otherwise it's segmented and it'll always be late. Number 2, parry should stick. When this guy punches for me, a lot of times what people do is they bounce stuff and it stays away. I want to stick to him because number 1, it gives me a little bit of control. It also gives me a little feel. He goes to throw that other one. I know where he is. Also, I can start to work with him. To stick, you have to learn to loosen up. When I touch, this should just mold into his body. Any way I do it, I want to stick to him. I can monitor him. I can feel where he is, especially if this is a weapon. This way I know where this is. So when you get better with this, you don't want to bounce things away because he can retaliate, right? I want to keep this close and I want to stick to it so I know where it is. The closer and more stick you have to it, the more sensitive you'll be and the better your work will be. Number 1, both hands work simultaneously. A lot of times when I see like a two-hand work, what happens is they'll go 1, then 2. But that takes a really, really long time. So you see people go 1, 2, 1, 2. Realistically, everything should kind of come in one motion. Like the more you get together with your work, like the quicker you'll get right to your work. So if he comes in, you see how it's already there, right? So if he goes lower, see I'm already here for whatever I want to do. So your hands should be together. When you're a beginner, obviously they'll be bigger, but your goal as a martial artist is to get smaller and more efficient as you go. This has been Bill Koenig for Straight Circle Martial Arts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.